When's the last time a man asked you how you were doing and actually waited for the answer? How about this
Wow.
one? If you had one friend to call right now at 2 a.m., would you actually have someone to call? We'll have those answers for you in this episode. We'll talk about some of that stuff. Um, Welcome to the Bro Code. This is the pilot show. We excited. Let's get into let's dive right into it, man. It's been a minute, man. So how you been doing? What's been good with you, man? Introduce yourself to the
I
people.
let me introduce and reintroduce myself back to the people. So, my name is Barney. So we got another KB in the house. So yeah, this is the brother code, and I'm just very excited to be joining this and talking and just discussing with you and our audience about these real topics. I mean, shoot, just hearing what you said in the intro just shook me. I'm ready to talk about it. But yeah, man. So I'm excited, and welcome to any new listeners, and definitely welcome to anybody that was listening before. We're glad to have you back.
Yeah, and the theme for us is mission first, money second, brotherhood always. All right, so let's get into this. And so also it's important that they understand the dynamic too that we're gonna be bringing, because you're gonna be bringing your Gen Z perspective, right? And then I'm gonna be bringing my
Yep.
millennial perspective. And so my name is KB. Well, my name is Ken. You see it on the screen. I go by Ken. You can call me KB too. We're good with that. Millennial, married, corporate, all the things. All right, let's get in there. So segment one: are men actually getting better?
Oh, I like this one. That's a good one.
Here's where I'm going. This is where I'm going. So obviously, perfect is June is we in June now, right? And so that's men's mental health month. Uh,
Mm,
and
nice.
so I thought it'd be perfect to come into this space. Uh, it's the it's a critical year for men's mental health awareness. Men die by suicide uh, nearly 4 times the rate of women. Over 6 million men experience depression annually, and most never seek help. Yet the conversation is louder than ever. The question is whether the noise is translating into actual change. So let's get into let's get into this. Let's talk about where you want to go with it. I opened it up. Did anything resonate with you? Of course, I got things I could talk about, but when you hear just that part, what do you hear? What are you thinking? What pops
Man,
up for
that's
you?
that's deep. I mean, it's definitely suicide is no joke, and it's not. I think it's a lot more common than we think. To your point, like it's not like so rare or only something that happens in the media or on social media or the movies. Like no, this is something that's real and that a lot of people are battling. And so, not even just suicide, but just everything on the spectrum up to that point, just battling with different mindsets and just different troubles. And so it's easy, especially nowadays, it's easy to feel isolated and alone in those battles too.
Mm.
So I think that, to your point, like when we was asking those questions in the beginning, I was like, I don't know about those answers. I don't know about those questions. Like I never even thought about that before. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's funny, like we so connected. We got the technology to be connected like never before, but we also like more lonely. And so you gotta like you have to you can't ignore that.
So what I'm thinking about is think about this. So for me, I grew so being millennial, like I learned to uh, push through in silence, uh, and therapy. Therapy wasn't really a thing. It was, but you know. not as prevalent as it is today. Like, hey man, go get therapy and then it's cool. But like
Right.
I in my 20s, I don't know if I was really talking about therapy like that. That like the way I'm talking to you about millennial to Gen Z to like bro, like as early as you have seeked it, I like that wasn't my story. Like I was just figuring it out, suffering in silence, just navigating, just figuring it out along the way, right? Just hey, it is what it is. And so I'm gonna start with you. All right, the question that I have: when did you first realize something was wrong? How long and how
That's a good
long
one.
before you did anything about it? And you
Oh,
could pick one
that's
particular topic, like one particular area in your life that was like, man, something is off, man. Let me go get help.
you know, I'm gonna give I'm gonna jump candid in with it. I'm gonna get in my bag with it. Go straight to it. I'm gonna give two answers, but they both speak to the same thing, which is really your nervous system. How are you experiencing? Not necessarily what's happening, but how are you experiencing what's happening? And so um, I would say, like as a Gen Z, especially you being young, being young still, you think that you all grown and stuff, but we still there's so much hormones and stuff that really got hold of us. Like I was
Yeah.
saying earlier, you can't ignore these stuff. You can't ignore these things. You don't got to fall victim to it, but you can't ignore it either. And
Right.
so, especially when you're in isolation, you don't know these things. That's why it helps to have like grounded older men around you to be like, it's okay. It's just keep going, just keep going. You're not crazy. Just keep going. Keep aiming for better things. And so when I say I'm gonna give two answers, I'm gonna say specifically my relationship and my career. Not
Mm,
so when you're striving and you're aiming to do great, you know what I mean? That means not I didn't say good, you're striving to do great, you're striving to do great. And so long story short, you would, I'll start with the work example. Like I'm the type of person where I realize that I'm very sensitive to feedback. So if I have a one-on-one coming up, oh my goodness, like, oh Lord, like the whole day before, I'm like, especially like, weekly one-on-one cadence. We don't have that in school and university. There's no one-on-one. Maybe you go to office hours if you want to, but that's voluntary and you're helping. You know what I mean? Like you're getting help. It's a different environment versus I don't know, I don't want to say corporate America like it's all one thing, but you know what I'm saying? It's just it's a different medium. And so what I've learned is that when you say, when did I notice something was wrong? I would just say the consistency, because I was noticing, and the same thing with relationships. I was like good or bad. Like even with the good moments, my nervous system is getting heightened. Like I'm walking into the experience thinking I'm walking into the one-on-one, even if I did good work. Like I'm realizing that I'm not framing it as good work. I'm just framing it as like little tasks or like stuff that I did. But then,
mm,
especially in my role now, I would say that like my manager is like they did a great job of bringing me in, involving me early, and giving me great feedback on both on what's good and what I can, what we can improve to make things better. And so I would just say it's one thing to get the feedback. It's another thing to be willing to receive it and work on it and implement it. So that's when those two come together, I would say magic happens. But getting into therapy recently definitely has helped me a lot. And just, you know, as a man, you're so trained to look outwards and focus on making sure that you're taking care of everything. And then you might mess around and come last. And something that you always told me, I'm pause here. You always tell me pay yourself first. You've been telling me that since undergrad, since high
man,
school.
oh,
And
that's deep. That's
I used to
deep.
always take that to mean money, like, oh man, yeah, what, yeah, then
Yeah.
pay your bills last. But no, that's deeper than money. Are you are you are you paying, are you paying your emotion? Are you paying everybody else's emotional bills first and leaving yours last, or just not even being paid at all?
Mm, mm. It's so interesting, man, because as men, we can easily fall into the performative bucket. Because you got the emotional, and then you got the performative side, and a lot of times we can fall into the performative thing, and it's trying to overcompensate on the performative side because, you know, in society, you know, tough. Hey, don't be crying. Men don't cry. You know, tough it up,
Yeah.
man up. Yeah. And so, and then not to mention, depending on whatever your dynamics is, growing up, like, was affection a thing in your household? Like, was it being okay to express what you're thinking, how you feeling, and it don't necessarily have to be soft all the time, right? But it's just like, okay, in this moment, what were you thinking? What feelings were you having? And just
Right.
making it like a healthy conversation, like between a father son dynamic, right? Like, okay,
Right.
I just want to hear your perspective. You gotta, you know, let's
Mhm.
and being able to feel safe to be able to communicate versus you never talk, like your dad may never talk about it. You may never talk, like you never express your emotions. So you stay inward, and who knows, depending on was it like a healthy upbringing? Was it a traumatic health upbringing? Was was your was the dad even around? And if he was he like around? Like, meaning, was he
Right.
present? Was he there? Was he communicating with you? Sure, discipline that comes along with the territory, but like the biggest thing was, as a child, did you have the opportunity to express yourself and not have it suppressed? And you know, so a lot of times what happens is we come into adulthood with a lot of suppression, and unresolved things, and you're bleeding all over relationships and all those things. And at some point, even yourself, if you have a little bit of awareness, you start realizing, like, things start repeating, whether it be the way the way you're operating in your personal life, relationships, family members, your career. And what could that look like? You got all these broken relationships, but you're the common theme in these scenarios. Like, you're the common theme. I'm the common thing. It's like, okay, so that's my, like, I don't get along with my brother. I don't get along with this person. Okay, that's in the personal family life. But then in your career, you noticing, like, hey, like, am I that person that always have beef with people? Like, and but why is that? Where do I get that from? Why am I in this cycle? Oh, in your relationships, am I the one that's like always looking for an argument, or always like short tempered, easily,
Right.
like, I easily get upset when it just was a conversation? It's like, man, you're not even effectively communicating. Like, you just went from what they say 0 to 100, and it's like, why are you getting so upset? Like,
He'll crash out.
yeah.
Literally.
You know. And so, bringing it back, landing it back to the question, when did you first realize something was wrong, and how long before you did anything about it? I would say for me, uh, I knew something was wrong when I had a lot of animosity towards my pops. Like, even if it was semi-justified, but like when you recall and reflect, it's not all bad. Like, I can't speak for anybody else's scenario, but like, for whatever reason in our mind, like, the parts that were negative, if you would want to say it that way, it's like you kind of grab those, and then it's like you forget all of the positive things. It's like you can't even recall any of that, and you just focus on those negative things. Now, granted, sometimes in your environment, there's triggers that happen where, as you're trying to navigate it and just kind of move past it, maybe there's things still in your environment that's still causing triggers, and it's like the thing that you didn't like, it keeps happening or something, and so you just kind of stay in this cycle. But I would say,
Can I say something?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
briefly. I will say in therapy recently. It's funny. Real quick. The therapist was
Yeah.
like, yo, for every negative interaction, I'm not saying really calculate it out, but try to get like 3 or 4 good ones in. I ain't saying do go all out, but like it's not 1 to 1. I don't know why it just popped in my head when you
No,
said that.
that's real. No, it's not one to one at all. And you start to realize those things. You like, man, like, and then you get to a place where it's like, just for my mental health, like I want to move past this. Like for me, like I just want to move past it for me,
Hmm.
just so I can be. If I'm saying I'm dedicated to personal development, becoming the best version of myself, just getting better for me, like, but then I'm holding on to stuff from the past, or it's pissing me off every time I think about it. It's like, bro, you ain't got over it. Like, you haven't got over it. And so, and that's still within you, that's still inside you. And so, once I started realizing that, that's when I went and got a combination of therapy and coaching. And it's crazy because, like, like, not all therapists and coaches are created equal. I think some of them are just trying to be your friend and get and just run it up and get money. But there are some good ones, right? And with anything, you can always, like, what's the one thing I learned in this scenario? Even if you're like, I'm cool on this person. But what's the one you still typically will learn something. And so for me, in terms of a time, like how long, oh man, definitely. I would probably say later 20s, earlier 30s, time frame for me. And then from there, like every person that I've encountered, it's almost like a layer. You know how example, NBA players are you know how, like, they realize they don't have the jump shot like they wanted. So they summertime, they get in the lab, they develop the jump shot, but they pick one thing to work on. Like they work on their jump shot, or they working on their free throws, and then they go back to the season, then they work on that. You're like, oh man, they done develop, and then they keep going, and that's time. And so that's how it's been for me. Like it's like every off season in the therapy sessions or the coaching sessions, it's like I can now, looking back in retrospect, I can see like the compilation, like the compounding effect of like layers being removed, new skills being developed to be able to communicate more effectively. But then also me kind of like having, I don't want to say like an out of body experience, but like me being able to observe myself and like, bro, you're actually over that, or you're actually in a better space mentally. As a result, it contributed to you. Obviously, I had to do the work, but that is what it is. So all right. So I got something else for you. So, what's the real reason most men never ask for help? And it's not what you think. Like, what's your perspective on that?
Man, I would say it probably just from what I've been learning recently. I think it gets taught in you early on. You just learn not to ask for help. When I say early
Mhm.
on, I don't mean like your 20s or your teens. I mean like as a child, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know, whatever age. If you learn, if you are not conditioned, that's the word I'm looking for. Are you conditioned to ask for help? Just like some kids are conditioned to ask for help. Hey, you need me to open that toy or that jar, come here, help, ask me. Or if you got questions about the earth and why things are what they are, ask me. Or go ask someone, you know. I think that's part of it. I'm not a psychologist or nothing, but that's
Yeah,
part of it
right.
probably. But also, I mean, just probably, how are you born? Some people are wired differently. So some people could get in that environment and still survive. Some people that might paralyze them. They might really need to go to, that's what we're talking about, therapy, and really peel back the layers, like you're saying. But I mean, why do people not ask? You say, why do not ask for help? If that's one piece of it, another thing is awareness. Do you know that you need to ask for help? Do you know that that's a thing? Like, do you know that that's not a shameful thing too?
No, that's real. No, that's real. Wow, that's real. It's definitely, growing up, it seemed taboo. Um, and the it seemed like the pray about it method was kind of prevalent in my
Right.
upbringing. Like, hey, God got it. Hey, just give it to the Lord. Pray about it. Just pray about it, and he gonna zap you from heaven, and you gonna be a better person. And without you ain't do no work, you just pray about it, get zapped, and by osmosis, somehow your life improved. And you and I know, or at least I know, also in the good book it says faith without works is dead. And so for me, I've always been like,
Yeah.
okay, what about the work though? Like with the work, okay, the spiritual side, okay, I got it, I'm with you. But what is and that's maybe how I'm wired. What are the order of operations that way that I need to control on my side after I pray? That way there is an outcome that can be somewhat predictable based on all the historical insight information on, okay, if you put this amount of money, if you just consistently put money in this account, it has the potential to grow here. If you invest in therapy, coaching, etc., and you have some specific areas that you want to work on, this could potentially be your outcome. It's no guarantees, but this could be your potential outcome. There's a higher probability of this type of outcome versus this type of outcome. I think really what really bothered me, and it's something that I had to get therapy on too. That I had to get therapy on that, bro. That was traumatizing to me, bro. Like to sit there and observe grown adults talking about giving it to the Lord. And it's like it used to be like the smallest of tasks, or the something where it seemed like it seems like,
That's funny.
oh, the Lord blessed me with this car. Did he? Like, all you needed to have was credit, income, like
And
income,
$5,000.
credit, and some money, like to put the down payment. Like, and so it just was interesting that it being like almost like using that language, but maybe that was just, how a person can only go left or a person can only go right. What do? You just guard them that side. You make them go to the weak side. And so what I realized is when you put the pressure down or you were asked tough questions, like you would cut off the right because they can't go left, and then it was tight, and it's like, God got it, and it's like, what? Okay, all right, that's interesting. But as a kid, you're observing these things, and you're like, this is off. Something is not right. Why can't it's God plus something? Like it's God, but it's God plus the work. So because God, you working on God, that's the internal. That's the spiritual side. That's the emotional side. That's the emotional bank account and all that. But then it's like there are some directives that you need to do. There are some things that you got to do. And so that was the biggest thing for me. Hey, drop a comment, man, in the chat if anybody resonate with that. I mean, I'm not the only one grew up Baptist, and that a lot of people's experience. And what happens is a lot of times you get so turned off, you don't even want to deal with it no more. Like if that's what y'all doing, let me go figure something else out. Versus actually, maybe it's your adults, your parents, or whoever, they just doing the best they can. They're human. It doesn't make it right. You're just observing, and you're probably getting ready to model what you're seeing as a child if you're not careful. And what I've seen sometimes is people have conflict. They know it's wrong, it's off, but it's their upbringing. And if they turn and they go in another direction, they know that it's going to probably be a lonely path going down that path, because they're going down the path of the road less traveled, right? And so you have people kind of torn internally with that as well, which is a good segue to the next topic of I'm gonna talk about it. The male loneliness epidemic. Like,
Let's get into it.
is it real? Is it self-inflicted? And what are we actually going to do about it? Like, what we going to do? What we going to do? Why is this a trend right now? 15% of men report having zero close friends, a five-fold increase since 1990. 2/3 of men aged 18 to 23 feel that no one really knows me. This is one of the most searched. A lot of people searching for this, man. A lot of people looking at this. This is interesting. And most real men caught silently in the middle. Like, and so this is the direction I want to go. Get your perspective. Now, this is getting back to how many men would you call at 2 a.m. if something went seriously wrong? And be honest.
Now, if we talking about seriously wrong in terms of like, you got a
Bruh, like
cold
2
call coming
a.m. You ain't
from,
calling everybody
like,
at 2 a.m. Like, who
that's
you
what I'm
calling at
saying.
2 a.m.?
I'm in that jail cell, like, man, like, okay, I'm gonna call. I would
It could
call
be
you.
flat
I
tire,
would
your tire, like you got a flat tire. You in Boston, flat tire,
see that.
2 a.m. You can't call the truck company or they not picking up. It's gonna who you can call. Like
That's
men, a
different.
man though, not your girl, your man. Like who can you hit up? Like, hey man, I need help.
You saying like local too? That's what I'm saying. That's different. Like
We can
that's
go
someone that can get
local,
to
and
you.
then we can go local. We can start there. Then after that, like it was just somebody like, man, I like, yeah, I know I can book a call with a therapist, but like it's all also cool to talk to somebody you close with when they
Right.
can, and maybe you can just, hey man, I need some help. Hey, I need to talk, and then you hit them up and y'all talk, about whatever, and they're not even trying to solve nothing for you. They just there for you.
Right. No, that's real. I would say locally, honestly, I don't really have that locally. I'm still relatively new to the area. But yeah, to your point, I had that in Philly, and that's the one thing I do miss because I had people that I was cool with. I mean, I was there for a while, and so.
Yeah,
But man, and it's just it's such a people you hear things about Philadelphia, but it really is a lot of love there, and so man, I liked it there. But in Boston, there's love too, but it's like I'm just trying to find where it's at. I'm not going to school out here, so I'm just I'm working remote, and so I got to inject myself into the community. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but in terms of to your point, I don't know who I would call though if it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m., tired and went flat. I mean, I got AAA, but what if I didn't use all my AAA credits? I don't know what I would
right.
do. But virtually though, I mean, like I said, I feel like I have a decent virtual community. I mean, I feel like I have you. I got we got cousins within the family. I got one specific cousin that's our age that I would reach out. That's my age that I would reach out to. But yeah, it's definitely. It's funny. Me and him talk about this and just talk about this type of stuff in general about just wanting to be more connected with our with the rest of the family. Whether it's not just us three or us four, but just there's so many of us and we're all spread out throughout the country. I'm out here in Massachusetts. You're in the South still. He's in the cousin is in the North. And so we got another cousin that's in the North. And we got plenty of family in the middle and in different spots throughout. And so we just were both talking about wishing that we could all be more connected. Back in the day, we felt like everybody grew up right around each other. And
Yeah,
so it made it easier to just reach out and touch somebody. And so virtually, that's something I've been working on. Like I said, me and you've been talking more, and this cousin, I've been intentionally like, okay, I've been setting a weekly call with him. I'm not saying we gotta be perfect and hit it every single week, but it's a no pressure call, literally just talking about what we would talk about if we lived near each other. You know what I'm saying? If we just
yeah.
popped up on each other for 10, 15 minutes. And then but outside of that, I'm still building. That's why I'm still building.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna answer the question, but then I got a follow-up question after that. So for me locally, I call my boy Chase. He one of my best friends, so I call him. If he pick it up, I know he'll be right there. He'll be right
Right.
there. Um, I got other people that's associates, but see, the thing is, people that sometimes it got to be organic, man, when you build the relationships, but it has to be intentional too. And it has to be on both sides. Because there are some people that I find myself reaching out to them more than they reach out to me. But then there's been times where there were certain people reaching out to me more than I was reaching out to them. And
Right.
it takes effort. Like it takes effort, and then and sometimes what happens is the seasons of life. Like, sometimes some like I don't have kids. A lot of my friends, like people that I'm cool with, or they have kids, and so sometimes they're wrapped in kids sports, or they got a really small little one. They like, man, bruh, man, I've been meaning to call you, bruh. Man, I just been, man, my 1-year-old, 2-year, man, I'm on daddy daycare duties, man. Like, I gotta pick the baby up, put it, like, my wife, she at work, so she can't do it, so I gotta do it, so like and it's just life, and sometimes what happens is life, as they say, be life in. And then, but time is passing, and then you just got, and then you like, damn, how many men can I call at 2 a.m.? Like, how many people, like, if I really need some, or if they need, like, how many people can they call? And so my follow-up question is the male loneliness epidemic real, self-inflicted, or both? And does that question even help? Like both? I'll leave it there. Are we making excuses, and we just need to lean in more and be more intentional, kind of like what you were saying, like the weekly call? So, like, for example, with me and Chase, we realized, like, bro, why are we going so long without talking to each other? Like, you my dog, like, you my boy. Like, so what we did was we scheduled a bi-weekly coffee in person, because we hear, like, in person. So we talk, chop it up. It don't have to be nothing deep. We can go deep. The conversation go where it go, but it's just time together as boys, because we want to invest in this relationship that we value. And so I swing it to you. So for me, well, I didn't answer the question. So I would say it's, I would say it's probably both. It's real, but I would say on the accountability side, some of this stuff is self-inflicted, though, just because of not being as intentional. Because if you let time is going to do what it's going to do. Season's going to, like, but it's like, despite all that, but did you schedule? Do you have a quarterly? And it sounds so like, but why we got to treat it like that? You have to treat it like that if it's important to you. You have to put it on the calendar. People have got stuff going on. Like, it can't, like, not every impromptu spontaneousness, sometimes that doesn't work for everybody. Like, people got stuff going on. Like, I know I like it.
Right.
Sometimes, depending on what I have going on, sometimes, like, okay, I'm down, let's do it. But then other times, like, man, why didn't you tell me early? Like, I could have, like, had some, I could have made some more time for it. But anyway, so you, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, it's real, and I'm thinking, not even just because of the new remote setup, but also we got to factor in COVID. Like, I know a lot of the adults are like, oh, COVID, that was just like 2 or 3 years of difference, like just working from home. There's a lot of college age kids who they didn't get the whole party, chug, 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 hold me upside down over the beer keg. No, we was at our homes sitting in front of a computer and then shutting our laptops and turning the TV on. That was our experience, for real. Not because we was lame, but because it was shut down. I mean, I was living with you in Texas at the time. Like, we was hanging out. We was making the best of it. We was playing board games, doing all type of stuff, watching TV. Having fun family time. But a lot of people, they didn't even have that. They were just solo for a year or two during the most formative years of their life. And so they literally, during the time when people was having what do they call it, NSO, new student orientation, they're clicking into a Zoom meeting and meeting people. Hey, how you doing? My name is such and such, and I'm majoring in such and such. I'm not to harp on that, because I felt lucky. I had a chance to my freshman year was in person. My senior year of high school was in person. So I had a decent time in there. But I saw people that they told me they if you ask people, if you walk up to people that's whatever that class year is and ask them about it, they'll sit there and talk to you about it for real and be like, nah, I'm still mad about that years later. Like, not just mad about it, but like that's trauma, man. A world disease that shut your life down. And so not just about shutting your life down, but it's changed the way we've interacted with people. So now we've gone from mandatory 6 feet apart to we don't even know how to connect anymore. Like, and I don't know, it's so many layers that can be folded in, especially if you're somebody who you grew up around family, grew up near in your family hometown and you moved away. And so you got to really be like, to your point though, you got to that's self-inflicted, but we're not going to blame you for chasing opportunity, but at the same time you got to be real. Did you move out there and isolate by yourself? Did you put yourself
Mm,
on a bad team? You're gonna put up numbers,
yeah.
but is you all gonna get to the playoffs and win, or is it just you? You put your numbers up looking good, but okay, do your thing, get your contract, but now maybe as another season you move, or if you're not gonna move, you gotta just acknowledge that trade-off, and that's why I say you can't ignore it and say I gotta be even more intentional about building the physical local roots and being selective and harvesting the virtual roots of people that I really care about from that past life.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. So let me ask you this. What about like disbursement across like the country and countries versus like staying together like as family? Like you know how you meet some people and you like, I
Yeah,
never left my city. I built my
yeah,
roots here. Like, and then but they have that community, like they aunts, uncles, auntie, mom, dad, cousins, those that stayed around, people you went to school with. But then also, like, you couldn't be successful in your own hometown. Like, you couldn't find something to be successful. You had to leave your power base in terms of your connections
right,
to go be successful, or you couldn't find a way to be successful where you grew up at. Because
right,
because what I'm speaking to is to your point, like, we chose to leave. Like, people chose to leave, and then you don't know anybody, and so it's like you don't have any family, you don't know nobody. And to your point, now you literally start from ground zero, which is, if that's what you want to do. But community has always been important. It's just that how we move in today's time, you moving away from community, and it don't mean that you can't add. Why can't you stay in your hometown and still build these virtual connections? And maybe
mhm,
there is some big towns near where you are, where you like finding other ways to build connection without like leaving your hometown. Like, if you had a lot of people there and it was healthy and all that stuff, right?
right. You're saying like almost like flip it, like nah, stay local and then do everything else virtual. I think that would be dope. I mean, I would like that. But man, it's crazy. We gotta acknowledge technology because I mean I think our grandmother is maybe what in her 90s,
Yeah,
and I think the
mid
plane was
'90s too.
invented like 100. The plane was invented 100 years ago. So think about like they grew up. Okay, yeah, the plane was invented, but they didn't grow up with United, Frontier, Spirit, Delta. They didn't grow up thinking like, man, if I want to move to Nebraska and start a new life, they had to go play Oregon Trail to start a new life versus us, we just book a ticket and like it's just crazy. And so to your point, now that we got all these options, just because you can make the choice, and it's crazy because you make these choices young too, in high school or college, or right after college. But this is what us Gen Z needs y'all, not y'all millennials, to tell us, to tell us about before we plant our flag somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or it's just or be scared to go plant our flag somewhere productive.
Yeah. Something else I was thinking about. this it, what about, let me get your perspective on this. AI companions for lonely men.
That's real.
Well, I mean, you just
Man.
talking to it, and I ain't even talking about like in a female, but like you just it becomes your friend. Like it becomes your friend. You talking to it,
Hmm.
and it gives you the emotional feel that it's another person, but it's like it's not another like it's
Yeah, the bot. It's dot 1 and 0. 1 and 0, one and
it's
zero.
dots. It's an algorithm. It's whatever you want to call it. Like but it's not like real tangible touch, shake hand. You know, being able to pick up on maybe some cultural things that you might say or whatever, unless you train it, right? But like, so what are your thoughts on that? Like,
That's almost even twofold, because it's one thing with the adults, but like, all right, it's one thing of some 50 or 60 or 40, 30-year-old person tripping on the apartment by themselves, whatever. But for kids, I'm thinking like, what is a 6-year-old supposed to do? How is an 8-year-old supposed to conduct themselves? And it reminds me of, I was reading a story recently. It's called iRobot. And it's cool. It's kind of like, them robot dystopian
you
sci-fi
like the movie?
movies. It's like it's a it's like one of them type of novels, like one of them fantasy, like robot dystopian, like
It's a
what if we
movie.
had
It's a movie
AI?
too.
Oh, it's called iRobot, the movie.
Yeah, that's with Will Smith. I think.
Mm.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, if I'm thinking right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, but it was it was a book from back in the day, but it was a bunch of different short stories about like robots getting intelligence. And one of them was like this kid who just, instead of her parents getting her a dog, they got her a little AI, or a little
Oh wow.
robot that had AI built in. And so she had got so attached to it. The mom started getting jealous because like she would run to the robot before she would run to the parents. And it
Oh
just started
wow.
making you think
Okay.
about this type of stuff, like what, like, whoa, what is this relationship with, like, is it becoming a substitute for human relationship? Should it? How far can that go? And like it's real stuff, man.
Now that's deep. As we end the segment, hey, tell us in the comments. When's the last time you made a real new male friendship, and how did it happen?
Mm,
This ain't. I mean, these are the things that we need to talk about out loud. So we ain't on no gay stuff. Like we ain't on, like, we married. Got, we got wives, all that stuff. So we ain't on that. But hey, and if you on that, that's your business. That ain't, hey, no judgment. That's your business. But that's not what we doing over here. All right. So another segment that I want to talk about is the two paths of manhood in 2026. You got the
mhm.
brotherhood versus the grievance, victimhood kind of mentality. Every man is being pulled towards one or the other right now. So meaning brotherhood, meaning like I hold you accountable, you hold me accountable for
Mm,
being the best version I can be. Um, I'll be honest with you, it seemed like it's an attack on masculinity. Um, but at the same time, some of the things I think is being self-inflicted with some of the guys out there on some of the things that they're being led down certain paths to focus on things that's not really going to be beneficial. So in my head, where am I going with this? I'm gonna break it down. So, um, so here's what I think I'm seeing. There is a how can I break this down? A split of masculinity in 2026. Come, when people hear masculinity, they hear rah rah, and that's not necessarily what
right.
it means. Like it's not. That's not like it. So I'm breaking it down. So we got the one path towards like relational masculinity, like empathy, accountability, growth, fatherhood if you have kids. But the other one that I've noticed is like towards like grievance, victimhood, masculinity, where it's like resentment, blame, gender war framing, false brotherhood offered by toxic influencers. Um, and so both paths are responding to the same real pressures: economic anxiety, loneliness, shifting roles. Because like sometimes you're not in the traditional the way it used to be back in the day, like gender. And so the difference is what you do with it, what we do with it. And so what I want to queue up, the question I have for you, I just wanted to frame it up so you can think through that. So when did you first encounter the manosphere, and what about it pulled you in or repelled you?
Mm, that's deep. That's deep. I mean, wow. I, first of all, just that brotherhood versus victimhood, man. Like framing, I like that. That in terms of like when I hear brotherhood, not just yes, some of it can be virtual, but when I hear from that too, is some of it's got to be in person. Like there has to be an
Fact.
in-person element. Somebody got to reach out and touch you and make sure you good. Like that's deep. Because when it's all first on the victimhood side, the victimhood be wearing the mask, looking like brotherhood. To your point, but it's just marketing. It's just yeah, it's a community, but are y'all building together or are y'all just talking about the same topics over and over and over? And are y'all talking about silly stuff? Are y'all talking about looks maxing or y'all pockets maxing? I don't know. Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's it's easy to get sucked into these spaces though, especially the algorithm will slip you a video. Here you go, and then
Yeah. Right.
it'll try to pull you in, and the first video, first couple videos won't sound so crazy, and then but no, I would say, like you said, you gotta prioritize that. Have that framing helps though. Am I seeking brotherhood and like actually chasing it, or am I just slipping into victimhood?
Mm. And so so did it repel you or did it pull you in?
Um, there's so many different forms. I mean, they got like different stuff. Like they got like hope core. They got like all different stuff. That's like I said, it sounds good on the surface, but then like when you click on the page and you start like going down more and more, I would say it repels me in terms of like what I'm focused on is, and it's not like 100% repel versus like
Yeah.
reject or repel. But what I always say is, even if the message sounds incredible, you always just look to take it with a grain of salt. You should never, even if it's unless it's somebody that you like y'all in real life or it's your family or something. If it's someone you learned about online or something, you shouldn't like 100% jump into their stuff without, especially without doing your own research. Like, don't just, well, they said it and they said it in a convincing way and they look good while saying it. They got everybody else is liking and commenting, so it must be the way. Like, no, do your own research, and make sure that it aligns with you. And don't just, I don't know, I would also say don't like hang your hat on that for the rest of your life. Like intentionally go find new creators. Cause that's another sign of it too. Cause are you treating it like a religion? Is it like, okay, I don't even want to go listen to other creators, or I don't even want to go move to other spaces. You're supposed to move you're supposed to move through spaces and learn and pick up new things.
Yeah. Yeah. The manosphere, I think that some aspects about it, like there are some things I do get. Um,
Right.
I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I actually experienced that myself, so to speak, especially being when I was single, but I ain't single. So it's not really, I always tell people, man, like you only need one. And so what the generalizations and like you're just making blanket statements, obviously, whenever you're making your point, okay, that's you have that to work with, but you have to be careful not to overgeneralize like populations and people and genders and like well, I give you an example. My wife, it's kind of funny. I always mess with her. I'm like, ooh, the sisterhood is strong. They
That's
will,
funny.
they will sometimes not even hold themselves accountable. And they'll just be going along, oh girl, And I'm like, why don't you tell her? Like, but I get it. People's personalities are different. And they just want to be there for their sister. Even if their sister doing wrong, not every they won't tell them, they won't say, hey, you wrong. Like that's not right. And so we've had many conversations about that, but I'm like, so there were some things that I even like me and my wife, like I would say that it was kind of entertaining because both of us being married, we were past that stage. So we don't need like that's we're past that stage doing our thing. Like, so it's not really meant for us. So I always found that weird seeing married people build out a whole like YouTube or whatever about the manosphere when they good and married. Um, so that part has always been interesting. Versus promoting a healthy marriage.
Right.
Hey, you only need one, and this is what you look for. But guess what? That's not sexy. That doesn't sell. That's not gonna get a lot of views per se, unless you battle with the gender. But you can get into that space and you can go down a rabbit hole, and then before you know it, it can almost come off as if you hate men or you hate women, and it's just a weird kind of. And I don't even like this word, but I would probably say toxic. It can get crazy. Like I hate that word. I hate it. I hated saying that. No, I need to pull up a thesaurus, a digital thesaurus, and come up with no. I hate that word. And it's just a word, so I don't even know why I had understood the emotion. I think it's because I've heard so many women say toxic, and I'm like, was it though?
Right.
But anyway, this is not to get on women, but just kind of like me and my wife. So anyway, it did help generate some interesting conversation between my wife and I. And she even has admitted some stuff like, that's correct. They be off on. I don't know why they be doing that. But I'm like, but why don't the sisterhood like tell each other like, girl, if you want a man, hey, this is typically what men are looking for. I understand you in Pluto somewhere, or you all in somewhere, some Jupiter, or you off in your world, Disney world of whatever of this ideal man, but like, no, this is really how it is. But what I think mentorship, getting with people that are already married, but they've been married, and it's not just about the length of time they've been married, because the length of time does not necessarily equate to a healthy marriage. It's like maybe y'all just like, hey, look, this our lot in life. You go stay in your room, I'm gonna stay in my room. Hey, when the rent due or the mortgage due, I'm gonna pay my half, you pay your half. We roommates essentially. We don't really do date night. We don't really operate as a unit. My money, your money, everything split. Is like nothing really. You're not really progressing like that. You just kind of stagnant and just kind of manage it for the best result. And so, for me, I can see how you can get pulled into it, but the danger is you're getting ready to slide into a space of victimhood. And there's some absolutely amazing women out there. Now, I will say that, and men, but you just have to be intentional with what you're looking for, and then and leave space for, hey, sometimes stuff don't work out.
Yep.
Learn from it, move on, grow. And I think that's the part that could be tough too, right? Like, 'cause rejection, loss, failure, feeling humiliated or feeling shameful that something didn't work, all those things. And so you just stay in victim and pointing at the women today or the men today, and it's like, but all you need is one. So why are you talking in like a broad, like all you need is one? All you got to do is get that one, like one, and so that's kind of where my mind goes when I think about the manosphere. So it's like I don't want to bash it, because it highlights some silent parts of our society that we all know is there, but everybody pretend like it's not there, and we all just playing the game, right? Like the nuances of how us as men are treated. As the reason a lot of times that we fall in these performative roles is because of society, not women, but just how society is structured, of like, and maybe our upbringing of, you don't have no value unless you're making money. And it's like, no, I have value before a job coming to play, before money coming to play, or any of that. Like, I'm a human being. Like, I have feelings, I have emotions, and I matter. Like, my thoughts matter, my perspective matter. Like, if I want to cry, that I'm cool. It's cool. That doesn't mean I'm weak. I'm a lame. So all these little
Right.
things that's wrapped up in our head that we have adopted. And growing up, to get the girl, you got to perform. You got to do this. You got to do that. Like,
You gotta have a game and
you
all
got to
of
have a game. You got to open up the
that.
door. You got, and all that is cool. Hey, I need to make sure I make money. Like, make money that way I can be perceived as I got something going on. And so it's a mask. It's performative. Like, it's, oh man, she gonna think less of me if, oh man, I can't afford her. Oh man, it's just all these different things are, I don't want no scrub, da 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 da. And so it's just all these things that I get it, I understand, but I will say this: being a man, it does require some things that's different from being a woman, and that comes with the territory. And so it's kind of, you don't want to say man up, and that's where reframing comes in, that because it's like, okay, acknowledgement, but are you complaining, or like what, or are you going to work with the brotherhood to max with your lot in life? Are you going to work with the brotherhood to get the maximum squeeze out of whatever it is for you in life, and you having your brothers surrounding you, like helping you with that, you helping them with that, and you're not running? Like, don't run. Like, you're running from being held
Right.
accountable for being the best father, the best husband, the best in your career that you can be, the best if you're into business, if being the best investor you can be. Like, it's all different genres of life, whatever. Or if you get tight, you ran off. None of us are perfect, but it's like, we need that. And then sometimes we just kicking it. Like, we ain't on that, oh, gotta hold you accountable. Like, no, you grown, man. Hold yourself accountable. Either you want to progress your life and care about your family, or you don't. What we doing? So that's kind of my perspective on it. Hey, drop a comment, drop a comment in the chat with one man in your life who you think is being pulled in the wrong direction. Not to call him out, but like, do you
Call
know
him out.
somebody?
Call him out.
Don't put a name in the comment. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's terrible. That's gonna be crazy. But like, do you know somebody that's being pulled in the wrong direction? With their lives, and maybe you can help, and maybe you can help them kind of, you know, be guided back. Not that we got it all figured out or you have it all figured out, but like, hey man, I think it might be another way to look at this, man. Like, that's a little bit more food for the soul. That's also more productive. All right, as we close, so I want to shift gears. This is gonna be the um so as we're closing, so I want to swing it to you. This is gonna be almost like maybe nugget of the day, something like that. Brother code of the day, man code of the day. We'll figure that out. But if you can give every man watching one piece of advice, one sentence, and it could be your peer levels, your fellow Gen Zers out there, what is it?
Man, what you don't acknowledge and heal from, you will repeat. It's just
Mm,
like imagine life is Ray Lewis.
okay.
And life and Ray Lewis has been up studying your plays for weeks upon weeks. This is the Super Bowl. Every day is a Super Bowl. You got a chance to win or lose. And you waking up thinking that you're just gonna be lazy and just wake up with no schedule. You're not preparing, but life is prepared and it's got your routines figured out, and it's gonna smack you every time, and you're gonna be wondering what's going on. And it's not just life, it's your unaddressed traumas, it's
Mm,
patterns that you keep repeating, and you're going, why does it keep happening? Well, why does my day start well, but then this happens? Or why do these certain patterns keep repeating, even though I'm waking up with good intentions? Good intentions don't win people Super Bowls. Good intentions don't win people championships. Good intentions don't make people millionaires. Good
facts.
intentions don't get you remembered. It's the results. And so what gets you remembered and what gets you the results is what you do in the lab. Whether that's, I mean, I gave the example of football. That their literal lab is the field, the court. But for us, real people, the lab is, like you said, getting a therapist and getting a coach. And in between that, not making them have to carry everything. Get you a community that you're not running from, so that iron can sharpen iron.
Ooh, man, hey man, that was mic drop right there, man. So for me, something that you said earlier, pay yourself first. I'm gonna take another step further. Invest in yourself first.
Mm.
Because if you're not well emotionally, all this performative stuff,
Yeah.
none of that stuff matters. You're not gonna be in a good headspace to build up the endurance of what it takes to be successful. And all success is it's not necessarily what society says success is. Success is you having I remember Earl Nightingale, this old school person development. Look him up. Earl Nightingale, super old school, even before my time, but I liked a lot of his takes and stuff. Success is anything worthy of pursuing and you start working towards it.
Mm.
Like, but for
Wow.
you, because what I realized a lot of times you live in a life that's not even yours. You're living someone else's life. So that ain't really you. You just got influenced and it became you because as a man speaking his heart, so is he. And you just you just you manifested it into your physical um experience. Yes, you did that. But words are powerful, man. Words are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. And so you have to invest in yourself first. And then everybody else around you, parents, your mom, your girl, your coworkers, strangers, everyone else will be a benefactor when you're healthy, when you're whole, when you're feeling at your apex, your prime optimal state. Everybody else benefits. But the biggest part is you benefit first. I'm out. We out of here, man. Until the next one, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. To the next episode, we out.